it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another episode of Health Declassified. And Kathleen is going to do a deep dive into our holistic health topic for this week, and it's all about strengthening your bones. We've got a couple of other snippets for you, so hang around after the bone section to learn more. Over to you, Kathleen.
Well, Peter, osteoporosis affects millions of people yearly, and mostly women. In fact, 80% affect women. And most people understand that weight-bearing exercises is important for reducing the risk of osteoporosis, but many people don't understand exactly why that happens. I know you know the answer to this, but let me share it with everybody else.
Sure.
So, unfortunately, most don't even know they have osteoporosis unless they either have a bone density test or they have minor fall that spontaneously shatters their bones. That said, the best way to improve your bone strength is to get regular exercise. More specifically, though, weight-bearing exercises, because not all exercises stimulate bone in the same way. For example, walking, swimming, cycling might benefit your overall health and fitness, but they don't produce the same intensity required to stimulate your body's building mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
So, why do bones become stronger with weight-bearing exercises? It's not just about the muscles here, Peter. This, by the way, I just want to mention this is an article by Dr. Mercola, and we will provide a link to the full article below this video. The article goes on to explain that bones have specialized cells called osteocytes that act like strain sensors. So when you load your skeletal structure with resistance through weight-bearing exercises, those cells detect the impact and send out signals that activate osteoblasts, which are responsible for re-strengthening bones. So furthermore, weight-bearing exercises reduce the activity of a protein called sclerostin, which normally works to halt bone growth, which
Mm-hmm.
means that bone-building cells may stay alive longer and ramp up bone formation. So
Wow.
weightlifting performed 2 to 3 times weekly produces the greatest bone density gains. Some of the best exercises include squats, deadlifts, incline push-ups, hip rotations, and chair squats, progressing gradually in intensity while maintaining proper form to minimize injury risk. Another form of exercise is blood flow restriction training. And Peter, we interviewed somebody not that long
Right.
ago that talked all about blood flow restriction
Mm-hmm.
training, which enhances bone formation markers even at lower intensities, allowing effective muscle and bone strengthening without heavy weights or pain. And my favorite, Peter, my favorite exercises is rebounding. That's for those of you who don't know, it is a mini trampoline, and you just bounce up and down. That is considered weight bearing, which is actually a
Really?
lot of fun that you can do in front of the television for 10, 15 minutes a day. So, what matters here, Peter, is consistency. Research shows that training for 1 year or more significantly improves bone mineral density, cortical thickness, and overall bone geometry across all ages and genders. So there you have it,
Wow.
Peter.
That's quite amazing. So it's really a case of use it or lose it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with muscles as well. And more important, the older we get, the more important it is to increase our bone strength. Hey,
Absolutely.
very, very interesting. I'm interested in your rebounder because I always thought that trampolines were something that gymnasts used. Yeah, I think one might be an Olympic sport, but really it was for kids to have fun on. I didn't realize it could be considered a form of exercise. Huh?
Oh, it's one of the best. And I think it's actually endorsed by NASA.
Really, eh?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, perhaps you have a moment of weightlessness as you're going up.
I don't know.
Well, I found something interesting on coffee, believe it or not. And this is an article in Epoch Health, and we've put a link in the newsletter. Many people believe that coffee is bad for you because of the caffeine. But what they found is that drinking 2 or more cups a day can reduce your chance of poor cognitive performance by 42%. Can you believe that, right? I also found that it reduces oxidative damage to your brain cells, so it can improve your memory retention and your thinking ability. And coffee polyphenols can improve your insulin sensitivity and reduce the risk of getting type 2 diabetes. I didn't know that at all, right? But there was 40 studies done covering 3.8 million people, and they found that people drinking 2 to 4 cups a day has a significantly lower risk of death from all causes. So
And it
that's
doesn't
one.
matter if it's caffeinated or
Well,
caffeinated.
they say it's the coffee is more important than the caffeine. Now, many people say some caffeine is good for you, but you shouldn't have it in excess. So what this article says is if you are unduly sensitive to caffeine, then drink decaf coffee, right? You'll
Hmm.
still get the benefits. And it says you shouldn't drink any caffeine, consume any caffeine 8 hours before bedtime because it could affect your sleep.
Mhm.
This article also says the blacker you can drink your coffee, the better. So, I gave up sugar in coffee a few years ago when I was trying to get onto a healthier diet, and I have a tiny little bit of cream and a little drop of honey to sweeten it. But they say if you can drink it black or almost black, preferably without dairy or any other form of whitener, and certainly without sugar as a sweetener. If you have to have a sweetener, use stevia or honey like I do.
I use
So
monk.
much, so much the better. What was that?
I use monk fruit.
Monk fruit, that's another good
Yes.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, I
mean,
got it.
you can't tell the
Love
difference
it.
between that and regular sugar.
Really, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. And is monk fruit available in supermarkets, or do you have to get that from a health
absolutely.
store?
No, no,
Okay.
it's readily available at most supermarkets. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. So there you go, folks. Coffee can be good for you but like all things, in moderation. And then, what else? Okay.
Well, Peter, you know what we talked about last week? We talked about lemon as blending a lemon, a full lemon, including the zest or the peel rather and the pith. And you said to me after we stopped recording that you would give this a try. So have you?
Yes, I did. So I've got to tell everyone that I was somewhat skeptical. I thought, yeah, that probably will help, but I can't believe it's going to work quickly. So on Wednesday last week, I mixed up my first batch and I took a whole lemon, and wow, I don't want to use any sweetener. I found it a little sharp, but I drank it. And then the next night, I took half an orange and a quarter of a lemon and blended the whole lot. And I just put all the peel, everything into the blender, and I grind it down. It's a little bit like drinking a drink with sand in it, but I can drink it and without pulling too much of a face. Long story short, I've been doing it for 6 days. I forgot one day over the weekend, and of 4 of those 6 days that I have taken it, I've only got up once in the night instead of my normal 3 times, right? Isn't that amazing? And the most amazing thing is that normally every time I wake up in the night, I'm not desperate to go to the washroom, but I think I'm awake, I better go. Otherwise, I'll go back to sleep. I'll just wake up in another hour. So I get up anyway and go. This morning, I woke up at midnight and I went to the washroom, and then I woke up again at 4. I don't know what woke me up. And I thought, I don't actually need to go to the washroom. And that's the first time that has happened for probably months, if not years. Comfortably went back to sleep, got up my normal 5:25, and was not desperate to go to the washroom. Right. So that's an example of one, but my results have been somewhat spectacular. So thank you, Kathleen, for digging up that article on citrus
Oh, I'm
fruit or
delighted that
prostate.
it was able to help
I'm
you.
amazed how well
Yes,
it's helped me. It
right.
really has helped. Okay, folks, so that was Kathleen's take on osteoporosis, my take on coffee, and a joint effort on the benefits of citrus drinks or natural citrus for prostate glands. Kathleen, we haven't spoken about your drops for a while, but you're looking really good and you tell me you've been sleeping well. So, what's the story on your drops? Let's
Well,
tell everyone.
Peter, I just absolutely love these drops. They're from Partner Co. called Slenderiiz. They are a body balancing system, really. So they act to suppress your appetite and balance your hormones. They support your thyroid function. They aid in digestion and they level out your sugars and your insulin. all while promoting a restful, deep sleep. And that's probably the biggest benefit for me is the hormone balancing and the sleep. Absolutely love it. A lot of people are finding that they're losing weight on this as well. So it's whatever your body needs, I think. And for me, it's hormone balancing and the sleep. So it's been fantastic. I can't recommend it
Great.
enough.
Excellent. And I've been following your Facebook page where you're putting up some of the case studies of people that have been losing 30, 40, 50 pounds in a relatively short space of
Isn't
time
that
with those drops.
incredible?
Yeah, men and women. I mean, and
Yes.
all ages too. Hey,
Yep.
wow, absolutely phenomenal. I lost well with this year weight with intermittent fasting, but it would have been a lot easier if I had known about those drops at the beginning of the year. Well, thanks for that, Kathleen. So let's look at what happened on Health Declassified over the last week. Well, we didn't have a guest episode this Tuesday. We had one the previous week, and that was Dr. Deborah Zucker, and she's a natural health doctor and a great holistic health specialist. She was a very good article. Who have we got coming up? Well, the next guest interview will be next week on Tuesday, and that will be Dr. Bill Andrews, who's an amazing guy, and he's a specialist in longevity and anti-aging. He's a scientist, and he's developed a product, and we'll put a link in the newsletter, which helps you lengthen your telomeres. It's a little bit more complicated than I can explain in a couple of seconds, so you're going to need to watch that article to learn how to live longer. And he's an example himself. He's 71 years old, and he's training for a 100-mile ultramarathon later. Well, it'll be about now, very soon, and he looks the part. Following that, 2 weeks after that will be Eddie Stone from the same company. From just coincidentally, we have two people from the same organization, Touchstone, and he will be talking about detoxification and antioxidants, and he's got a couple of products in his stable to help you live a longer life. And wrapping it up, 2 weeks after that will be Jody Scott from Green Goo, and it's a mother and two daughters business, totally natural products, and she talks about some of her products and the success they're having with totally natural products, and they grow most of the plants to go into those products they grow themselves. So that's a really good one. There we are. That's our lineup for you. And if you want to stay in the loop and get news on our guests, then subscribe to our newsletter. There's a link on the website and a link at the bottom of the newsletter. Um, we always talk about a featured author, and this week we'll be using last week's guest's book. So Dr. Deborah Zucker's book, The Vitality Map, and that tells you how to live a healthier, well-balanced life, physically, emotionally, mentally. Diet tips, very, very good book. And that really is about it for me, Kathleen. Have you got anything to add?
Well, I don't today, Peter, but thank you all so very much for tuning in. And until next week, take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.